It's very rare that in anything that you do, you will be the first person to do it. There are a lot of people who are more qualified, and there will always be somebody who can at least provide you with insight and guidance that can help reduce the difficulty of any situation or any goal that you are striving to achieve. These people, we call them mentors. And one of the first things and one of the most worthwhile investments that you can make early on is investing the time and the money into finding and having a mentor.
I concur. And you know why I concur? Because this was very evident in my life. I think that Jose and I are both people who are pretty confident in themselves. And I'll use Jose as an example. Whenever he gets into something, like, he'll take the time to really study and learn everything about that particular thing. And when he does this, that enables him to have a level of confidence about that certain thing that most people don't have, because he knows his shit. So when you're well-traveled, well-learned, well-read, you have this proclivity to be very assured of yourself and your decisions. However, unless you are running a business or being taught about a business at a very young age, most of us don't know how to fucking run a business. We don't know all the things it takes to run a business. We don't know the money it's going to take to be able to start up the business, how many people we're going to have to get in touch with, where to find them, XYZ.
It was a Urus. I'm sorry.
Of course.
I got upset.
So when you start on this journey and embark on this journey of entrepreneurship and just life in general, you have to resort to speaking to the people that have done this before you. Because in my opinion, that would be very egotistical of you to not do so. And Ryan Holiday, Ego is the Enemy, correct? He mentions multiple times throughout the book, and that's why the book is titled what it's titled, that our ego is normally rooted at or in our demise. So when you're looking to grow, when you're looking to become the next big thing on planet Earth, don't just think that you have to rely on solely yourself. Ask people who have tried to do this or who have done this before you and learn what you can from them. And in my opinion, when I took that advice, when I started to say, hey, I don't know shit, I asked those people, I asked my mentors now, hey, what did you do? How did it work for you? What was success to you? How do you define a good business? What are the things that you need to operate a business? You ask them questions like this, and instead of taking years or thousands and thousands of dollars down the drain to figure it out, you potentially save yourself that time, that energy, and that money if you have these people around you to ask and call upon to say, hey, how did you do this? So that's why, for me, mentorship is so, so important, and why I recommended this to a young gentleman who asked, hey, if you were starting a business at a young age of 22, 23, what would you tell yourself that, if you could go back and tell yourself something now? And I said, get a mentor. Because for me, that was something that helped me, and I know it's helping us currently, is having a mentor to rely on that knows this, what we deem as uncharted territory. For them, they've been through it multiple times. They've already been to battle in it multiple times, but we haven't. So having someone who knows where, again, that fucking lion's den is over there, where the soldiers are over there hiding behind the hill, where the fucking sand trap is, or over here. Like, when you have people who know where these little pitfalls are, it helps you mitigate them and it helps you get past them and saves you, again, that time, that money, and that stress and energy.
Well, and the biggest thing here is, why would you try to reinvent the wheel in any sense? There's people who have done things even more difficult and more challenging than you have, and what may have taken them 40 years may take you 4 if they are willing to help you in the process. As Austin mentioned, they're going to point out the traps, the difficulties, the pitfalls that they encountered that you can easily avoid. And 9 times out of 10, Having mentors is going to help you grow your network to where when you do encounter issues that you may not be able to overcome, it's 1 or 2 phone call away from your mentor in order for things to get put into place. Now, none of this is going to be easier. And you might think that this is even cheating. But in reality, the only thing keeping you back from relying on other people is your ego. And even then, relying on other people has a bad reputation. Is it not true that we are animals that are designed to work in a pack? Do we not rely on other people to help supply us with food, with water, with electricity, with beautiful views? Do we not rely on other people to help modulate our mood? When somebody else is happy, we have a tendency to be happy. When somebody else is sad, we have a tendency to be sad. That's why there's the saying that you are the combination of your surroundings.
Basically, like the sum of people who you surround yourself with, basically.
Correct. You are the sum of people of your surroundings because we take in a lot of the feedback from our surroundings. Whether it's positive or negative doesn't even matter. If you're surrounding yourself with highly successful, high-performing, or just in general, very, very sharp individuals, it's only natural that you will slowly become exactly like your surroundings. Highly successful, sharp, very attuned to what's going on, and also just critical thinking in endeavors that you never would have thought of before. A lot of things that you'll see is that your mental capacity will expand over time, and you'll find yourself reflecting on how you used to be, who you used to be, and how you used to behave. And you're going to just kind of laugh and say, it's incredible the things that we can do or I can do today that I wasn't able to do yesterday, and I didn't even know it was possible for me to do that. So all of this together really just means lower your ego. Understand that there are people who have done things before you and they do it better than you, and that relying on them or asking for their assistance will take you to the next level. It's the saying from Sir Isaac Newton, if I see far, it's because I stand on the shoulder of giants. So when you stand one level above other people, relying on your predecessors, you're honoring them by doing better.
All right. So just to give a little history lesson here, this is very interesting, I found. So where does the word mentor come from? Do you know, Jose?
Mentor. Torah, like a book or like a connection, like it's foundational thing.
It is derived from a book, a certain person in the book, actually. So in the story, Odysseus, the king of Ithaca, he entrusts his son Telemachus. He entrusts his education to his old friend Mentor before he leaves for the Trojan War. Mentor is portrayed as an ineffective old man, but Athena, the goddess of wisdom, takes on his appearance to guide Telemachus. So the word mentor became a common noun in English in 1750, meaning wise counselor. It comes from the Greek name mentor, which means a wise advisor, intimate friend who also is a sage counselor. So that makes a lot of sense as to where it derives from. But that's one person named mentor. So does that mean that you only have to have one mentor? No. I think you should have fucking hundreds of mentors. Of course, not thousands, maybe not hundreds. I'd say the more trusted individuals, the better. But if you have 100 trusted individuals, then fuck it, who cares? If they're all able to help you and guide you to do what you're trying to do, hey, 100 mentors, who cares? So for us, we utilize a multitude of mentors. So it's like a doctor's exam or something like that. Or if you're going into a surgery and you have multiple surgeons around you, a main surgeon might be doing the surgery. However, if they needed a second opinion, they have those trusted individuals around them that can be able to kind of check their work and see, hey, is this what I'm doing, or is what I'm doing correct? So I believe that you should be able to mold your life around that thought as well, because if you have multiple mentors, you have multiple ways of doing something, multiple ways to skin a cat, as they say in the South. So if you're not from the South, that's just a saying. We're not saying that you actually fucking skin a cat. But if you have multiple people around you, you have the understanding of being like, hey, I went to this person and they gave me their way of doing something. It might be more assertive. Then I have my other mentor, their way of doing something might be more subtle. My other mentor, their way of doing something might be faster and the other ones might be slower, right? So you have these 4 different ways of doing something. And now you have the kind of full picture, potentially, or closer to it, on how to be able to tackle this problem as opposed to just one perspective. Because if I was up in the sky, right, guiding Jose, flying down below, I'm up a little bit higher, and I have my perspective on, hey, this is how the battlefield looks. Or who knows, we could even be Jose's in the mountains going through warfare. I, again, am up in the sky saying, hey, this is how everything looks from my perspective. That's only a little bit of how the picture looks because I have a aerial view of things. But Jose's seeing things from a totally different perspective. He's seeing things from a standpoint of, shit, there's hella fucking trees right here. There's a cliff right here. I could fucking fall down. The rocks are fucking just huge and it's hard for me to move around. They're loose. So whenever I try to move, a fucking rock fucking falls and then that causes more fucking sound and then people will know where I'm at. Twigs every fucking where. Then you have the fucking mountain lions every now and again that come by and that get curious and they can come by and fucking attack you and whatnot. And then you have fucking vultures flying around because there's a fucking dead carcass over there. So that makes me think, okay, maybe I have to blah, blah, blah. Like you have all these different things that he's taking in because he's on the ground actually seeing things from that perspective. And when you have that perspective and you have an aerial perspective, that gives you a better picture of how things are. And my perspective isn't 100% correct. That's just how I'm seeing it right now. And Jose's perspective might not be 100% correct because he can only see so far. So when you combine those two, you get a better understanding of how to attack and how to move forward on the field of battle. Same thing with the mentor. They give you a better understanding of how everything fucking looks and how to attack everything and how everything can be handled. And when you have that better understanding of that, you have a better understanding of how to move forward. And when you have that understanding on how to move forward, it basically thwarts off you making more mistakes, losing more money, fucking hurting yourself somehow, some way. You get to bypass that because now you have a better kind of mental picture on how everything fucking looks and how everything could potentially unfold for you. So that's why, in my opinion, don't just have one mentor. Just because you have one, that's cool, but get multiple. And to be honest, one mentor might only be for a season. We've encountered this as well. You might start with a particular mentor, utilize them and get something from them for a certain period of time, but then you either bypass or surpass them, or just things don't work out to where they don't have as much time as usual. That doesn't mean that you have to keep kind of going back to that person and making something out of nothing. You can get more mentors and thank them for what they've been able to help you with going forward or at that particular point in time, and then utilize the other mentors moving forward. So you don't have to stick with the same mentor. Of course, you try to keep them around as much as possible. But if one person helped you through a particular season and they're not willing to come with you to the next season, that's all right. That's what the next mentor is for. And the next one, the next one, the next one. And who knows? Like, I had a mentor as well that was early on in my journey. Didn't really talk to them for a good amount of time, and now they're back. So just because you have one mentor doesn't mean that, you know, the relationship only has to be for a certain amount of time. It could also mean, hey, who?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah. So, did you see?
I don't know.
That's funny. But, yes. So, have multiple mentors and realize that sometimes they're for a season, sometimes they're for life. You never know. But utilize them how you can and when you can. And be sure to take care of them as you can as well.
Trying to decide whether I want to be nice or not.
I normally say normally say be mean, but you know what? Today, be a little nicer. How about that?
Yeah. Wow, that was sad. Mentors. A lot of times, I think that while you were talking and giving them these wonderful analogies of me in bloody warfare, the only thing I can imagine is myself getting lost and caught up in the fact that there's a tree here, there's a rock there. If I step here, this is going to happen, that's going to happen. But a lot of times, you need perspective. And when you're so caught up and you're so in the weeds, I'm basically repeating exactly what you said. But when you're so caught up and you're so in the weeds, it's because it's that important. You can't see the next best move, but also your judgment is completely skewed. So you might pursue one thing that's not even important. And you wouldn't know truly what the most important thing is unless you had experienced first-handedly what it may be. You could be spending hours upon hours upon hours optimizing your website, optimizing your packaging, optimizing your logo, getting your copyright. You could spend hours doing these small little non-trivial things, but you're not in the business of having the best website unless you're designing websites. You're in the business of driving revenue. And not only that, you're in the business of increasing your profit margins as well. So you spending all this sweat equity on the wrong things, you can easily go down the wrong trail and the wrong path. And unless somebody's there to say, hey, and shake some sense into you, what are you doing? What is your goal? What do your numbers look like? Where do you see yourself going with this? Because I have no clue. And I've done this before or something similar. And I can tell you, even I don't know what the fuck you're doing. So what the fuck are you doing that for? And then you go, I don't know either. Shit. Damn it. All that time, money, and effort wasted. But at the end of the day, one of the biggest things, in my opinion, shout out to Ilfound, one of the biggest things, in my opinion, with regards to mentors is that they believe in you. And this isn't going to be the case for all your mentors. They might not really care about you. They might just want to get your money and guide you somewhat in the right direction and just get on with it. But in my experience, what mentors do best is they guide you, but they are also, in a sense, the reason why you keep going. Because oftentimes, all the discouraging things that you see at the surface level can very much deter you from continuing and moving on and doing better. But when somebody's in your corner saying, hey, you need to do this. Hey, you need to do this. Hey, focus on this. Hey, don't focus on this. Hey, do you have this? Do you know this person? Have you looked into this? And then you're like, I just look at you and be like, yeah, but it's fine. You're almost there. You'll get there someday. I believe in you. They might not say those words exactly, but besides the fact that you may be paying them investing their valuable time in you is proof in and of itself that you have some value with regards to what you are trying to do. The AM Club Podcast.
Signing out.